Hey guys, in today's video we're going to check out question 3 of the Chemistry Paper 2 Gauteng Prelim 2025 paper, where we're going to look at boiling point and the common patterns in this section. So let's jump right in. So question 3 says, during an investigation, a table of data was collected for 4 organic compounds, A, B, C, and D, as we have over here. The compounds have different functional groups, so that is how we're distinguishing things. We usually compare one of 3 different factors, either the chain length or the types of bonds. In this case, considering there are different functional groups, they'll have different types of bonds, and then bond order, which is less common than the first 2. So we usually just compare one or the other. What we're going to see here is that they usually have the same amount of C's if we're just going to compare the different functional groups and the different types of bonds. But let's see what's happening here. We have A, which is a straight chain with just C's and H's, and we have the molar mass over here and the different boiling points, which links to the strengths of the types of bonds. From there, we have a CHO over here. So this is some sort of aldehyde where we have a C with an O and then an H over there. And then this third one, C with a COC over here in the middle. And then, as you can see here, for D, we have a COOH. This is some sort of carboxylic acid. And the molar masses, they are the same for A, B, and C. D is a little bit bigger, and the boiling point gets progressively higher from A to D. So 3.1 says, define the term boiling point. So boiling point is quite a common definition in this section. It's either that or vapor pressure, but the boiling point is the temperature at which the vapor pressure of a substance equals the atmospheric pressure. And that would earn us 2 marks here. This is just something on our definition sheet for our exam guidelines, and this is an all or nothing question, so we have to get all the key words here to get the 2 marks, or we'll get 0. So that would earn us 2 marks. And then 3.2 says, in the investigation above, name the independent variable. So we wrote these 3 guys up here in the beginning, the chain length, type of bond, and bond order, because these are usually one of the independent variables. So they'll usually do this question in some sort of investigative question type way, where we have independent variables. It's either chain length, type of bond, or bond order. And then the dependent variable is the boiling point, because what can happen is that we can change either of these. We control the chain length or the different molecules based on their chain length, or the molecules we're choosing to investigate based on their types of bonds. And then because of that, because of them having different types of bonds in this example, they'll have a different boiling point. So boiling point will always depend on one of these 3 guys. So we just need to keep that as our frame, because in this investigation above, name the independent variable for 1 mark. It is organic molecules with different functional groups. As we can see here, these compounds have different functional groups. That is what we're controlling. Either this or the homologous series is another way of saying that, because as we change homologous series or molecules with different functional groups, we'll get different types of bonds over here, which means this would earn us 1 mark for 3.2. 3.3 says, explain the trend in the boiling points among A, B, and C as shown in the table above. So just A, B, and C based on them having the same molar mass, even though they have different amounts of C's. A has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 C's, B has 1, 2, 3, 4 C's, and C has 1, 2, 3, 4 C's as well. So on this sheet over here, we're going to compare A, B, and C as they mentioned, and we're just going to reference this organic molecule sheet so that we can see what type of bonds we're dealing with. Because if we have different functional groups, we have different types of bonds, and we just need to see what type of bonds do they actually have so that we can compare them. There's a very standard format for these types of questions, so we're just going to check that out. So as we established, this is some sort of hydrocarbon, as there are only C's and H's. There aren't any double bonds or triple bonds if we were to draw this out. So this is some sort of alkane over here. And as we can see for alkanes, based off the intermolecular forces here, they only have London forces. There aren't any dipole-dipole forces because there are only weak London forces between the H's and the C's. And then B over here, as we established, is a CHO, like we have over here for our aldehyde. We have an aldehyde over here, a CHO, and that has London forces, but also dipole-dipole, and that is a dipole-dipole force between the oxygen and the carbon atoms. And then C over here with a COC in the middle, which also has London forces and dipole-dipole forces, because there's also the interaction of dipole-dipole between the oxygen and the C's. So these guys don't have any hydrogen bonding. that is only for a carboxylic acid and an alcohol because of the H directly attached to the O, and that is what hydrogen bonding consists of. Hydrogens interacting with nitrogens, oxygens, or fluorines being directly attached. And we can see that here when it comes to D, because D has a carboxylic acid and that has a hydrogen bond, and we can see that the boiling point is significantly higher for it. So that means if we know which compounds we're dealing with, we can just break down what type of forces they have, and then we can compare the trend in boiling point. So we can start off by saying that B and C both have dipole forces because of the O attached to the C for both of them. Next, we can discuss what type of forces A has, and it has weak London forces because there aren't any other elements besides the carbon and hydrogens. So A has weak London. This would earn us 2 marks so far, and then we just have to compare all of these guys to each other, that the IMF, the intermolecular forces in C, is stronger than B, stronger than those in B, and the weakest in A. And we can see that here with the boiling point going from 36.1 to 74.8 to then 79.64. The same molar mass, but because of these different functional groups, the ones that we just compared, there's a different boiling point for each of them. In spite of different chain lengths, we're ignoring that because they are telling us just to compare the functional groups. And we say, therefore, C will require more energy to overcome the IMF, to break the intermolecular forces, so to overcome IMF between molecules A and B. Between molecules, then in B and A. So more energy required to overcome the IMF in C here compared to B and A over there. And that would earn us 4 marks over here and is the standard trend, what they want when we are comparing different molecules with different functional groups, saying which intermolecular forces they have, which one is stronger, and then therefore more energy to overcome the intermolecular forces of the stronger one or the one with the higher boiling point. Because we have a higher boiling point because we require more energy. Boiling point and energy are directly proportional, so therefore the higher the boiling point, the more energy is required for the bonds to actually break between these molecules. And then 3.4 says, which compound C or D would have the lowest vapor pressure? Give a reason for the answer. So the lower vapor pressure between C and D over here is what we're looking at, and something to note is boiling point and vapor pressure are indirectly proportional, which means if boiling point goes down, vapor pressure goes up. If boiling point goes up, vapor pressure goes down. This is just something we have to know. If we want to understand why, we can see this bottle analogy over here, where we have a plastic bottle in a car, and when the car warms up, the bottle expands. Obviously not to this degree, but if we had 3 little dots of water left inside this bottle because we didn't drink it after practice or anything, and then the bottle expands in the hot car, so the boiling point goes up, the temperature increases, we have these same 3 little dots over here. And what happens is there's a little link in between these two, is that the volume increases because there's more space, not the volume of the little dots, but the volume of the space of the container that those dots are in. And because the volume has increased, the pressure, how many collisions between these guys, decreases. And that's why boiling point and vapor pressure are indirectly proportional because of this explanation. But this is something we can just remember if that's easier, but this is why it works, because in the other scenario, if boiling point decreases from the big bottle to the small bottle, the volume decreases. So boiling point decreases, volume decreases, the container gets tighter, and then pressure, the amount of collisions between these 3 dots, happens more frequently. And there'll be more collisions, more pressure inside of this one. So then, with that being said, which compound, C or D, would have the lowest vapor pressure? The lowest vapor pressure would be the one with the highest boiling point. So therefore, D is our answer, and that is because the highest boiling point will have the lowest vapor pressure. And that is all we need to say for this one for 2 marks. And then 3.5 says write down the following. 3.5.1, the phase of compound A at room temperature. So compound A is over here, and room temperature is 25 degrees Celsius, which means that the boiling point is a little bit above 25 degrees Celsius. It's 36.1 over there, which means that boiling point implies the change from a liquid to a gas. So only above 36.1 degrees Celsius will it become a gas, start changing from a liquid to a gas. They haven't spoken about melting point over here, which means that the phase of compound A at room temperature is a liquid, just because it is below 36.1, which means it is not a gas yet. Only if it were above 36.1 would it be a gas, but room temperature implies 25 degrees Celsius. So that just earned us 1 mark over there. And then 3.5.2 says, the structural formula of the functional group of compound B. So we're going to have to draw this, and we're just going to draw the functional group of B over there. And just like we saw on that picture earlier, it is a CHO, it is an aldehyde. We're dealing with a C with a double bond O over here with an H attached on it. And then all we have to draw is the fourth line here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're happy. This is the functional group, the specific key to place this organic molecule as an aldehyde. So that just earned us 1 mark over there. And then last question, 3.5.3, says write down the IUPAC name of compound C. So IUPAC name of compound C over here. So I'm going to draw it for us quickly, a ketone, because a ketone is very similar to an aldehyde. As we can see over here, the ketone is a C double bond O in the middle, and then an aldehyde is a C double bond O on the end. So there's availability for an H over there to attach to that C as well, which means that we know we are dealing with a ketone with our C double bond O in the middle, which means a ketone just ends with an "-one" over here, and the naming convention also ends with an "-one" over here for the suffix, which means that all we have to do is that we have to write the amount of C's that we have, and then we'll be good to go. Because if we can count the amount of C's, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have meth, eth, prop, bute. We have bute, and then we have our O on the second C over here. So if we're going to draw it, we have 1, 2, 3. We have a C over here. We have our double bond O. Then we have a C again with 2 H's, another C with 3 H's over there, and that is everything. So as we can see, we have our double bond on the second C over here. So we have meth, eth, prop, bute. So then we have butan 2-one, and we can't just say but 2-one. We always need the an over here, otherwise we won't get the marks. So butan 2-one will earn us 1 mark over there and 12 marks for this whole section. Great job, guys. Let me know if there are any questions in the comments below, and then I will see you in the next video.